Heya Cryptozens. Tonight's show. 3 Arrows talks bailout. Babel finance collapses. Musk's Twitter crypto plans. It's 10 p.m. Pacific. The date is June 17th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nicodemus, and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. Take a minute. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast now, because we're here at 10 p.m. each and every night so that when you leave in the morning, you're taking with you the crypto news analysis that you need to start your day. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. We have always been believers in crypto, and we still are. That's how 3 Arrows Capital's chairman Kyle Davies characterized the company that he helped found. He said, quote, "We are committed to working things out and finding an equitable solution for all our constituent." So, briefly, for those who haven't heard last night's episode, 3 Arrows Capital, or 3AC, is about 10 years old. It was started in 2012 by classmates Zuzu and Kyle Davies. As of April of this year, they had $3 billion in assets. As of May this year, they had a bunch of trouble. That's because at one point, 3AC bought about $200 million in Luna. Last I looked, that was about $700. That investment was made as part of a group. That group of large investors sunk about $1 billion in the Luna Foundation Guard. And that was pretty much wiped out. They were 2 of the top 10 cryptos. Market capitalization of $60 billion gone. Davies said, quote, "The Terra Luna situation caught us very much off guard." And then he went on to talk about the fact that the sell-off was unprecedented. Basically, the Luna Foundation Guard not only failed to save their coin, but they made life worse for everyone. The way they decided to dump all that Bitcoin on the market, that is still wreaking havoc with people's portfolios. And Davies says that's the problem. They got hit hard by Luna, but he says they could have handled that. The Bitcoin sell-off, however, and ETH and alts, that came with problems. Suddenly the value of the crypto that you're holding isn't high enough to be your collateral anymore, or at least not all of the collateral you need. And to be fair, there are external factors that are pushing the crypto markets down. You've got rising interest rates. People are worried about runaway inflation. Not only that, but the word is we've got about a 70% chance of finding ourselves smack in the middle of a recession. All of that prompts people to sell off their riskier assets. And 3AC is known to be vulnerable here. They've got large positions in both staked ETH of the Lido variety, as well as Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That trust is losing value, of course, because Bitcoin is losing value. It wasn't all that long ago that they were contemplating a move from Singapore to Dubai. They were a regulated fund manager in Singapore up until last year. See, they moved from Singapore to the British Virgin Islands as part of their plan to get to Dubai. So 3AC isn't just giving up. Davies said that they were exploring options. These options include asset sales or even rescue by another firm. They're hoping to reach an agreement with their creditors to give them time. They want more time to find a way out of this mess. They said, quote, "We were not the first to get hit. This has been all part of the same contagion that has affected many other platforms." At present, they're still quantifying their losses. Davies says that they were counting up the damage in terms of the loss, as well as the value of its illiquid assets. Remember, not only do they have a ton of value tied up in both staked ETH and Grayscale Bitcoin, they're venture capitalists. They have investments in dozens of companies and startups. Only time will tell if the current relationship is going to do more damage to 3AC or to their investments. Well, looking at the markets right now, there's a tiny little bit of green. However, it's been up and down all day, so don't get too comfortable with that. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $892.75 billion. It's up 1.23% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin up 0.56%, Ethereum up 1.03%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin up 2.68%. Another day, another crypto lending platform halting transactions. We've had a number of these failures in the field. Celsius, they're gone. I mean, it's possible that they'll survive, but they've had to halt transactions, which really hurts them from an investor confidence point of view. Granted, they got a $28 million infusion through multiple DAI contributions, but it's still not looking good. Apparently, their liquidation point is now sitting at just north of 15,000. But they're not the only ones. 3AC, we just talked about them. At first, when all of this hit, 3AC went straight up radio silence. They wouldn't answer the phone, even though they said that they were, quote, communicating with relevant parties. Well, seemingly taking a page from 3AC's very sketch playbook, Babel Finance has come out with an unfortunate announcement. They said, quote, we are in close communication with all related parties on the actions we are taking in order to best protect our customers. Okay, so Babel Finance. They were founded in 2018. They are a major crypto finance services provider. Based in Hong Kong, they offer crypto lending, asset management, and financial services to institutional investors. They were running an $8 billion a month trading average in terms of volume. Just in May of this year, they got a $40 million in a Series A funding round. That round saw participation from the likes of Zoo Capital, Sequoia Capital China, Dragonfly Capital, and Tiger Global Management. And so it has come to pass that Babel Finance has posted a notice on their website. And in this notice, which starts with Dear Customers, in it they talk about major fluctuations to the crypto market. They talk about, quote, conductive risk events. They said, quote, recently the crypto market has seen major fluctuations and some institutions in the industry have experienced conductive risk events. I think that's a term we're going to be hearing a lot of, especially in relation to the Terra Luna Black Swan event. And citing, quote, unusual liquidity pressures, they announced a temporary suspension for redemptions and withdrawals. And of course, they apologize for any inconvenience. In a statement, a spokesperson said, quote, Babel Finance is taking action to best protect the interests of our clients. We are in close communication with all related parties and will share updates in a timely manner. And folks, you know how I feel about keeping your money on the exchanges. You risk it every time you do so. If you have your crypto on an exchange and that exchange dies, you may or may not get your crypto back. It's a risk. That's why I won't keep my crypto there. I'm starting to feel the same way about these yield products like Celsius. You got Celsius, you got 3AC, now you got Babel. And I hear BlockFi, I hear they're having their own liquidity issues too. They liquidated it in part 3AC, but they're offering an 80% premium. They want a $100 million valuation on a $1 billion funding round. Now, they're not talking why, of course. Their spokesperson said, quote, BlockFi does not comment on market rumors. And I don't blame them. Neither would I. And the problem seems to come from DeFi. See, platforms are rehypothecating your funds. Have you ever heard that term? That's where you lend an institution money and then they use that money in some way, like investing it for their own purposes. That's what rehypothecating means. We saw stablecoins. They were offering 15% interest on deposits. And they were offering this because they just took their customers' money and then re-staked it or rehypothecated it into Anchor. Anchor offered an 18% return, so stablecoins just pocketed the 3% difference. At least until Anchor went down and stablecoins got sued. So, in addition to keeping my money to my custody, I'm also looking at whether I want to keep my money on any kind of a lending platform. Not financial advice. The global NFT market cap is up over $12.24 billion. Sales volume is down 5.37% in 24 hours. According to CoinMarketCap, The top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Bored Apes, followed by CryptoPunks, Otherdeed, Clonux, and Mutant Apes. And keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. Scams and payments. That's what Elon Musk was talking about yesterday. Scams and payments. So here we go. Elon Musk had his first full staff meeting with Twitter employees on Thursday. Part of that conversation was centered on his plans for the company. Also included were his plans for cryptocurrency. Now, a leaked version of the meeting was posted on Vox's website on Thursday. And through the speech, he lays out company policies and housekeeping. Things like whether he plans on any layoffs or whether he'll let people continue to work from home. All of these are fine and important things. But I think you're here to hear how Elon plans to deal with scams and payments. During his staff meeting, he did talk about how he wanted to remove crypto scams from the Twitter space. He said, quote, "There are quite a lot of crypto scams on Twitter. It's gotten better, but there are still a fair bit of that." And so he talked about things like he's talked about before. He wants to put the anti-bot algorithms up for public review. And he's talking about a paid tier service. The value of the optional paid tier would be user authentication. And you could wonder why maybe Elon's so into this. Why is he so focused on scammers and scam accounts and bots? Well, his name and his face are on a lot of these scams. How many tweets have you seen in crypto Twitter with false promises that Elon will give you money, that if you just send him some Bitcoin, he will double it and send it back? I mean, I know he got hit with his own hack, and while $118,000 lost would be a lot to me, I'm sure it's not that much to him. Although it does have to hurt a person's pride. But I don't think that's all of it. I know if it were me, I would just be sickened by all of the scamming scumbags that used my face and my name. I'd be disgusted to think that people were using me to steal from someone else. So maybe that's part of his passion against the scams and the bots. But he also talked about payments. In the staff meeting, he said crypto payments could be added to Twitter. He said it, quote, would make sense to integrate payments into Twitter so that it's easy to send money back and forth, and that such plans could include currency as well as crypto. Now, Twitter is not virgin territory as far as crypto goes. Last year, they added Bitcoin tipping under Dorsey's leadership, which is fine, but it seems like Musk wants more. He said that he would maximize the usefulness of the service, his words. He said he would do that by making Twitter so compelling you can't live without it. Again, his words. Now, he's talked about digital currencies on Twitter before, but that was talking about adding Dogecoin payments as a method. But his bigger point was, quote, money is fundamentally digital at this point and has been for a while. Now, there's no guarantee that this deal to buy Twitter for $44 billion, that deal might not go through. He said he was going to call the whole thing off if more than 5% of Twitter accounts were proven to be bots. Twitter hesitated on giving him access. Finally, a few days ago, on the 8th of June, they said that they would give him, quote, fire hose of data. So, it looks like the deal is still on. And that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed tonight's show, like, comment, and subscribe. Give us a glowing review, because that helps other people find their way to this podcast. Do you have questions or comments? Reach out and let us know. The email address is nick@cryptoovernighter.com. That's nick@cryptoovernighter.com. Or come find us on YouTube. Leave me a comment and maybe I'll read it into the next episode. You stay safe out there. Watch out for yourselves, but watch out for each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.